Welcome back, trackside. Once again, race fans, here to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Tonight, the ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity Series fires things off for week number 3 here in season number 9. We're going to hit the Tricky Triangle. We're at the hometown track of the Turn 3 Racing Network right here in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. What a night we've got in store for you. The M80s 173 just around the corner. The premier racing setup qualifying session underway. Only about a minute and a half remaining for these drivers to try to dethrone Doug Argabright at the top of the speed charts. We'll get to some of that qualifying information in just a moment. Track temperature over 110 degrees. Drivers are going to be slipping and sliding a little bit out there tonight. Going to have to really manage that right rear tire wear. But before we head trackside, how you doing? How you feeling? Out there in TV land, race fans, glad you could all join us here tonight as always. Bringing you all the calls from trackside. Speaking of trackside, let's go ahead and throw up some of those qualifying times. To the left-hand side of your screen, there you can see Alan Bledsoe taking the quick time here in qualifying 54.99. Will secure the Premier Racing Setup Pole Award here tonight for the M80s 173. 69 laps around this 2.5 mile tricky triangle. I'm telling you, we're going to have one hell of a race in just a handful of moments. We're going to step away for a quick commercial break, head trackside for your national anthem. So don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be back live here from Pocono.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly wailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular their bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
And we're going to bring you back live trackside as all the drivers have made their way through pre-race inspection and on to the starting grid. There you can see 20 drivers lined up for tonight's American Sim Motor Racing Hauck Designs Xfinity Series race right here at Pocono. Race number 3 about to get underway, awaiting the official word for the boss man in the flag stand to let the pace car loose. So we're going to talk a little bit about what has transpired so far this season. Clark Jenikin going to victory lane in the season opener at Auto Club. A great race for Jenikin. He's since been missing in action a little bit as the field receives the word. Derek Moore, your latest race winner last week at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Will he be the first to go back-to-back this season? We're fixing to find out. Drivers have begun to roll off of pit road. And you hear those familiar sounds in the background, you know it's time to run down tonight's starting lineup in the M80s 173, brought to you by the Premier Racing Setups right here on iRacing.com, snatching the pole position here tonight behind the wheel of that iconic DuPont number 24 machine. Alan Butzo will bring us to the green flag. 41 of Doug Argabright going to start just to his outside of that Hot Wheels machine. How about Christian Amonti and TJ Grober in row 2? Inside row number 3, behind the wheel of that 16 machine, looking to get back to victory lane once again, can the National Guard. Number 16 get to the front. Derek Moore will start in 5th. Alan Wiggins just to his outside, back in row number 4. Cody Schultz and Brandon Mathia. Ed Hauck and Brandon Hartman going to round out your top 10. Meanwhile, Brian Turnowski and Anthony Schilk will round out row number 6, and in row number 7 here tonight from Pocono Raceway, the 38 of Zach Miller, the 51 of Nick Burlow, Nicholas Wing, Daniel Jensen in row 8, row 9 tonight, Dave Gage and Andrew McConville. Patrick Coro and Jake Dofing will round out the 20-car field. Pace car in, music will fade on the gas, and green flag flies for the first time here tonight from Pocono. And we got one around. Brandon Mathia going to go around top side of the racetrack. Brandon Mathia around lap number 1. Mathia able to corral the car. Not a lot of damage on that quick trip number 1. So quickly under caution here tonight from Pocono. Let's head upstairs. Let's go check the replay and see that quick trip number 1 on the outside of the racetrack. Little bit of contact. Some help from the 7 machine. Going to send Mathia on a big slight contact with the rear of the car. Cosmetic damage. He should be able to fix that one on up and still be within good shape to get to the front of the field. So we're going to quickly head back to the front of the field as drivers make their way out of turn number 1, back down the Long Pond straightaway and heading towards turn 2. We're under caution early here tonight from Pocono. Getting a little busy early, some time behind the wheel for our pace car driver here tonight, Joshua Norwood, pulling duties behind the pace car for us. We appreciate Norwood making some trips across the country for us. We look forward to having Brian Walters up there in the pace car next week when we head to Daytona. And what about the race after that, guys? If you haven't looked into the season, We've got Kern County Raceway coming up in just 2 weeks. These drivers definitely going to put their skills to the test when we head to Kern. That's going to be an amazing night as well. Look for pit road to be open, but I would expect it to be a pretty lonely place. Nobody inside of your top 5 willing to give up the track position and come to pit road. Looks like the 99 of Nicholas Wing heads to pit lane. Andrew McConville, Brandon Mathia all take the opportunity to head to pit road. But again, with that being said, I mean, it's early lap number 1. These drivers are able to save a little bit of fuel, so we'll expect to push back that green flag pit stop should we get that deep into a run without the caution. Pace car receiving word on the radio. We're going to get the 1 to go signal this time around, so drivers going to have to refocus, reset, and get ready for the restart here at Pocono. And that's a, you know, I ask myself this a lot. All these restarts, would you rather have the caution work the nerves at the start of a race, or would you rather have that late race caution? You know, I'd rather go flag to flag, you know what I mean? No cautions, no problems, no issues, no worries, but sometimes that yellow flag can be your best friend. Sometimes it can be your worst enemy as well. All just depending on how your night is going and how your race is unfolding. Right now, Mathia with that big slide. Caution doesn't really help him, or doesn't really hurt him. Does help him a little bit. He's not going to lose as much track time. He's going to lose a lot of track position, though. Mathia going to restart all the way outside of your top 15, all the way back in what looks to be that 18th position. So we'll see if the Quick Trip 1 is able to work his way back up through the field, or if he has some problems and stays stagnant towards the tail end of this pack. We're down the Long Pond straightaway once again, heading off into turn number 2. Double file. We're going to double dip for the start of tonight's race. Quick caution, lap number 1. Back behind the pace car, ready to roll once again. Field through the tunnel turn. So here we go, race fans. We're going to step back just a little bit from the cars, trying to get a wider camera angle for you here as the field makes their way through 3. We're going to get ready to go once again. Here from Pocono, Norwood, make that left-hand turn. Thank you, sir. Into the restart zone we go, and green flag flies once again here from Pocono Raceway. Field going to stack up a little bit after turn number 1 down the backstretch, fighting hard on the top side. Alan Bledsoe right up next to that outside wall, man. Got to be careful there. Not a lot of running room up next to the wall. Going to see a lot of side-by-side action here off of 2, heading into 3 for the first time at speed. Bledsoe with about a 3-car advantage already. Your top 2 starting to step away, single file back from there. You got one driver held to the pavement on the high side, making things work, trying to run down the rest of this field. Out front, lap number 6 going to go on the board this time around as we head back to 1. Going to jump around a little bit here in these opening handful of laps. Drivers all going to be jockeying for position. There you can see Christian Abate sitting in second. Derek Moore still in third. Doug Argerbright going to fall back to 4th now. 64, Brandon Hartman. He's up 3 positions from where he qualified. Great run so far for that Hilton-sponsored number 64 Toyota Supra. Hanging it out to the high side. Gonna have to watch leaving that inside lane open a little bit early in these runs. Those Goodyear tires really gonna stick on that inside lane, on that inside run, and we'll see if Hartman's able to keep the positions. Making some moves in the back. Take a look at this. Patrick Coro, Brandon Mathia. We've got contact in the 99 of Nicholas Wing. Almost secondary contact. There's some more contact. Wing trying to get it together. Somehow we did not. We didn't crash. We wrecked. Don't get me wrong. That was a wreck. Let's call it crashing in style, as our good buddy Roger likes to say. Meanwhile, at the front, battle for the race lead and new race leader here at Pocono Raceway. Christian Abate going to put that red mist. Podcast 45, Camaro at the front of the field. New race leader for the first time by across the line, and Abate will officially lead a lap here tonight from Pocono. A lot of action here at the front, a lot of action towards the mid-pack, a lot of action at the back as well. And Hauck involved in a scrum. We're going to go back, check that out in just a moment. But first, let's check out the little bit of action going on right here. A little bit of a hornet's nest. Right behind Argerbright, you got Wiggins, Grober, Hartman, Schultz, and Burlow. All in line, all in tow. Let's not count out Brian Turnowski in that 28 machine. There you can see Turnowski making his way off the corner eggs, and Anthony Shuck right behind him. Dave Gage, the 404, he's up 5 positions from where he qualified. One of your biggest movers in the race already here, Gage, looking to find a way to the front. Top 3 stepping away. Gage trying to find a way around the drivers in front. We're going to jump on board here. Take a little ride with Gage as he sports that PR Taco Palace and Margarita Bar sponsorship here this week. Next week, we're going to be down in Daytona with the PR Taco Palace and Margarita Bar 187. That's always a fun time. Always got folks tuning in at the bar. We wish Gage well, getting into one of his hometown tracks. Big battle here, as he's got the 21 of Anthony Shuck working that high side. We'll jump back off of the car. A little bit of a sideways moment there for Gage. Bottom of the racetrack, lap number 10 going to go on the board. We'll drop the timing and scoring over to the left-hand side of your screen to let you find and follow along with your favorite driver in the field here tonight. Tell you what, we've got some more battles at the front. Let's go back to that top 3. 16 of Derek Moore, able to take a position away from Bledsoe, who falls back to 3rd now. Top 3 with a solid 2-second advantage right now over the rest of the field. So your top 3 Already stepping away, Argabright, Wiggins, Grober, your top 6. Schultz, Burlow, and Hartman with Ternowski get round out your top 10. Is it too early to bring up the word strategy? Is it too early for you? Do you want us to wait a few laps? Too bad. Dave can't do it. Pocono, one of these tracks that we've seen long green flag runs. Long sustainable green flag runs at that. We've also seen a lot of strategy play from Pocono over the past handful of years. Will we see drivers utilize that fuel strategy? Slide job, man. Oh, wait. Did you see the 18? Grober found a hole, shoved the nose of the car right in, and the Sin Magic number 18 going to pick up 2 positions through turn number 3. What a run there for Grober. Great corner. Argabright beginning to slide backwards just a little bit here. Has the 5 of Cody Schultz digging to his inside, looking to take away the 6th spot. But as we were saying, you know, the fuel mileage, it's a big thing here at Pocono. Drivers, teams, crew chiefs like to kind of run this race backwards. As soon as that fuel window opens up, you know you're going to have the pit strategy set out. We may see a few of these drivers head to pit road a little bit early here. We're expecting to see them in about another 15 laps or so is when we should see drivers beginning to hit pit road. Somewhere right around lap 25-ish. Lap 30 with the caution is where we expect the majority of the field to begin to come to pit road. We continue to watch this battle for just a moment. Tell you what, let's head up front. Let's go up front. Let's watch this battle between Moore and Bledsoe. Your pole sitter, the 24, looking to get back to that 2nd spot. Dropped from 1st all the way back to 3rd. Now digging to try to get back to 2nd on the inside through the tunnel turn. Not going to prevail just yet. They'll drag race to 3. Top 3 stepping away, almost a 3-second advantage now at the front of the field for Abate, Moore, and Bledsoe. They are absolutely beginning to walk the dog here. Bit of a Sunday drive on a Wednesday night. And I tell you what, there's nothing that makes hump day better than walking away with a checkered flag in your hand. See who gets the job done here tonight. From Pocono, as we gear up to get into the middle portion of the season. Quick, short season here in season number 9 for the ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity Series. Only 12 weeks long. These drivers already on race number 3 here tonight. We're going to finish out the first part of the season at Kern County Speedway. Just 2 short weeks. So you better get ready. You better be on point by then, because we got to start shifting our focus into championship racing. Right? Drivers are going to be eyeballing the championship chase and a run for the title. In just a few short weeks, about 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we're going to see drivers really start to shift their focus into, I wouldn't say points racing, but they're going to be more in tune with what they need to continue on their quest for the Season 9 championship. Right now, we're watching the battle unfold between Alex Wiggins, 41 of Doug Argabright, Cody Schultz still in the mix within striking distance. The Mobile 1 machine of Nick Burlow, the 51, he's right there as well. So a nice close battle here between 4 to 5 drivers as they make their way off of turn number 1. We're going to head back through the field. What do you say we check in on this quick trip number 1 of Brandon Matthias, still running with Anthony Shook. 10th and 11th on the racetrack as we head through the tunnel turn. A little bit of a slide there from Mathia. Able to keep the Camaro headed in the right direction, so a little bit of a slide there. Pressure tires will prevail. Mathia works the bottom of the racetrack and takes the position away. As he continues that climb back to the front, Mathia gonna crack into the top 10 for the first time since the start of tonight's race on lap number 1. Trouble for Mathia. Had to head to pit road, massage that right rear bumper in quarter panel. Looks to be in good shape, looks to have some speed still behind the machine, and he's wheeling that thing to the front. So what do you say we jump around a little bit here, race fans? Let's see where the battle, where the action is. Producers wanting to take us right here with Alex Wiggins, Argerbright, Schultz, and Berlin. So we got a question for you. If you're out there in the chat and you're watching here tonight, if you're joining us in TV land, whether it's over there on the Facebook side of things, maybe you're joining us on Twitch, possibly even that other one, Kick. We do appreciate all of the love and support if you're right here on the home network, on the YouTube channel. Let's see what you think. What is the Pocono Mountains most famous for? And you know, I can't act like I've always known this. Our good buddy Roger Muth actually bestowed this knowledge upon me about 3 years ago when we really started taking the company, we'll call it company field trips, to the race weekend right here in Pocono. But Roger turned me on to some information, and it's been a constant in my head every time we head to Pocono. Gotta mention it because it's just one of those really kind of facts. What are the Pocono Mountains most famous for? As we see Doug Argerbright take a position away from Alex Wiggins, who's going to fall back now. Cody Schultz looking to his inside behind the wheel of that number 5 machine. Packed in on the bottom. A little bit of contact through one. They'll sort things out, but Schultz going to lose a little bit of ground down the backstretch. So come on, let's hear it. Let's hear some of those answers. What is the Pocono Mountains most famous for? Yes, I'm clapping my hands while I'm talking. Sometimes I don't know what to do with my hands. Almost a third of the way through tonight's race, Alan Bledsoe has since reclaimed the spot at the front of the field. Your premier racing setup pole award winner has been able to work his way back around Derek Moore, back into that top spot. Moore going to fall back to second. Abati slides to third. Grover, Argerbright, Alex Wiggins, Schultz, Burlow, Mathia, and Hartman now round out your top 10. Close little battle here. Let's go here. Let's watch this one unfold. Daniel Jensen behind the wheel of that fast Ford Mustang, the number 4 machine, closing in on the 404 of Dave Gage. Gage still moving forward here tonight, now up a 6th position, tied with Nick Burlow for the biggest move of the race, and we've got drivers to pit road. Brandon Hartman gonna head to pit road. And we're gonna take a look here. Looks like this may be a scheduled stop. I think it's a little bit early to be heading to pit road. I think you can squeeze another 3 to 4 laps out of the fuel tank. Nonetheless, Hartman and McConville both to pit lane. Gage struggling a little on the high side. That's going to open up the door for the 4 on the bottom. And Jensen going to move into the top 10 for the first time here tonight. The Epsilon Tequila sponsored Ford Mustang. Moving a handful of positions during this initial green flag run. Jensen's now up 6 positions as well. So a 3-way tie for the biggest mover as drivers sit in 7th, 10th, and 11th. Let's go to a battle. Let's get to a 3-car scrum as they try to close back in on Doug Argerbright. Fastest Supra in the field here tonight. 2 Mustangs leading. A Chevy out of the turn. Little bit of contact with the outside wall there. Burlow with a little bit of contact. Taking a look at the speeds. Looks like a handful of drivers trying to eyeball pit road. You can see some of that snake action going on at the front of the field. Alan Bledsoe trying to break the draft to the drivers behind him to see if he can't separate himself a little bit more here tonight. But we're now going to watch these drivers work their way off of turn number 1, down the long pond straightaway and into the tunnel turn. There you can see Brandon Hartman trying to keep himself on the lead lap. He's made his green flag pit stop already. Race leader's going to barrel off into the corner. Just an amazing run here so far for these drivers. Opening troubles here tonight from Pocono brought us to a crawl back behind the pace car. We have been clean and green ever since the drop of the green flag on lap number 4. Alex Wiggins going to be the first driver inside of your top 10 to head to pit road. Daniel Jensen in the 4 going to follow suit. And we are just past the third of the way through tonight's race. And what did we tell you? Around lap 25 is when we expected to see those green flag pit cycles really begin to open things up. And here we are, lap number 24. 3 drivers in the pit road. 2 have already visited. We're going to visit the battle at the front of this field once again. The Conval fresh tires. And it looks like Moore's going to get hung out to dry. Christian Abate going to stay on the racetrack with him. Bledsoe, Burlow, Grover, all to pit road from the front of this field for the first time here tonight. Derek Moore goes to the point. And man, you can see Moore and Abate fighting to keep that thing on the bottom of the racetrack. Really want to make sure they get to pit road this time around. That's going to relinquish the lead as Moore, Abate, Schultz, Mathia, all to pit lane. Doug Argerbright says, no thank you, I want a lap. Led the Hot Wheels Toyota Supra are going to stay out on the racetrack here. Lead a lap from Pocono. That's going to leave us with just, it looks to be just 3 drivers yet to hit pit road here tonight. I apologize. Going to be 4 or 5 drivers yet to hit pit road. Argerbright, Brian Tarnowski, Ed Hauck, Patrick Coro, and Nicholas Wing yet to come to pit road for their first green flag pit stop. 99 of Wing did utilize that first caution here tonight on lap number 1 to come to pit road, so he's got a little bit more fuel in the tank as Argerbright going to bring his 41 the pit lane this time around. What does Hauck and Tarnowski do? Let's take a little look here at this number 7. And well, it is March and it is madness for sure. We're not at the Madhouse. We're not at Bowman Gray Raceway. But with the NCAA basketball tournaments picking up right around the corner, conference championships already behind us, what's your bracket looking like, huh? You think you can make it through? You think you got what it takes to be one of the very few to have a perfect bracket? If you think you do, put it out in the chat. Let's see what you got. Trying to show us what he has at the front of the field. Brian Janowski continues to lead the race, inherited the race lead during this round of green flag pit stops. And our drivers may be trying to go on a one-stop strategy here. But I think you're asking you're asking for a lot. You're looking at what's it going to be, about a 34, 35 lap run. We're about 7 laps away, so it doesn't seem like too far of a stretch until you start thinking about the mileage. 2.5 miles, 7 more laps. That is a lot to get out of the tank. These are not EcoBoost. These are not hybrids. These are not your flex fuels. These are just flat out race cars. And saving fuel behind the wheel of a race car and keeping speed in it is a very tall task and a big order to ask. As Brian Janowski get head to pit road this time around, Ed Hauck get a peel from the racetrack and head to pit road as well. What will Patrick Coro do? Coro with the 91, he's going to bring that bit ward in 91 to pit road. May have gotten a little bit more than what he bargained for coming to pit road. Coro, we'll see if he gets popped by the pit road police. Meanwhile, battle for the race lead ensues once again. Christian Amonte and Alan Bledsoe back at it with each other. Once again, Amonte going to use the high side, high, wide, and handsome. The Larson line here from Pocono going to pay off for the 45, and Amonte looks to get comfortable at the front of this field. So the green flag pit stop's going to mix things up a little bit. They're going to separate some of the field, but we've still got 4 drivers running within striking distance of each other. Your top 4 have stepped away from Alex Wiggins, about a 4-second gap from Moore back to that Michigan-sponsored number 11 machine of Alex Wiggins. You can see Wiggins just in the background with Burmo in tow. Brandon Mathia still trying to climb back and recover from that lap 1 incident here tonight. The quick trip number 1. All over that rear deck lid of Cody Schultz. They're going to make their way out of turn 1. Head down the Long Pond straightaway as we get a look back off of that number 5 fast forward Mustang of Cody Schultz. You can see the one of Mathia right in tow, right in line. Let's go back to the front. We've got another one here. Great camera angle from the driver's side of the 18 of TJ Grober, who sits in third. The Harbor Freight's Tools number 16 of Moore right behind him. And then we are just about at the halfway point. That is just how quick these drivers are here tonight. Laying down laps under 56 seconds to go 2.5 miles. Speeds upwards on average of 175 miles an hour here tonight at the Tricky Triangle. You're watching the M80's 173. So as we inch closer to that halfway point here tonight, we're going to go ahead and kick off that mid-race report a little bit early here tonight from Pocono Raceway. We started tonight's race with 20 drivers on the starting grid. We have still got all 20 on track running. Only 17 remain on the lead lap. Patrick Coro sitting about 3/4 of a lap down right now, but Coro, one of the final drivers to pit road, so look for him to make some improvements as the course of this green flag run plays out. TJ Grover and Derek Moore going at it third and fourth on the racetrack. Final podium position up for grabs here as we'll cross the line. Lap number 33 going to go on the board. Biggest movers of the race, let's highlight this man right here. We got to give credit where credit is due. Behind the wheel of this Mobil 1 Ford, Nick Burlow, up 9 positions from where he qualified, outside of the top 10, now running in the 5th position. He's got a lot of ground still to make up. But man, that 51 looking good, looking quick. We'll see if he can make his way back to the front. So let's head to the front. Race leader showing the way. Christian Abate looking to step away from this field. He's got your Premier Racing Setup Pole Award winner right behind the Springfield, Missouri native. Looks to get the job done here tonight at Pocono. Derek Moore going to run in third, up 2 positions from where he qualified. Can the Kansas Kid get back to victory lane to become the first back-to-back race winner here in season number 9 for the Hauck Designs Xfinity Series? We're going to find out in just about 35 laps. TJ Grumber running right behind him on track. Grumber looking to get back to the post-race interview booth as well. Looking to have another solid podium night here tonight. Comfortably sitting in 4th, no troubles from behind. We'll see if Grumber can keep this speed up. And that's going to do it for your driver highlights and spotlights. Your mid-race report here tonight from Pocono Raceway. We are at the halfway point now, as Christian Abate has crossed the line here to put lap number 35 on the board in the M80's 173. You know, we may have a little explaining to do, right? The M80's 173. What is this race name about? What is the M80's about? If you've had the opportunity to head to Pocono over the past handful of years, you would, well, you'd know that there's an amazing cover band that comes in each and every year, throws amazing concerts, both Friday and Saturday night. The M80's on stage doing a fantastic job entertaining all the fans in the infield. You get the opportunity to go to those concerts following the fireworks show outside of turn number 1 here each and every Saturday night during race weekend. And if you don't know, you can check out the Facebook page. Go check out the Turn 3 Racing Network Facebook page. We had I'll call it a big moment last year. We had the lead singer of the band wearing the Turn 3 Big Head hat. If you don't know what they are, you need to check them out. Our good buddy Muth in the booth brought it to the track. He caught a lot of flack. I'm going to tell you right now, I gave him the 3rd degree about it. But it turned out to be one of the biggest and best things of the weekend. Everywhere we went, we had to stop and talk to somebody about it. So big tip of the cap to Mr. Muth for knowing what he's doing, getting the name out there. We had a handful of drivers take some pictures with the hat. We also had, as we said, the M80's cover band rocking the turn 3 hat on stage. So again, an amazing group, an amazing band, and just want to show a little, what's the word I'm looking for? A little gratitude, right? They gave us a shout out on their page. So giving some of the love back to everybody involved over there with the group, the M80s. Absolutely an amazing experience. Hope you join us this season, this year at Pocono. An amazing time, some great food, and just an all-around, just great 4 days of racing action at a beautiful race facility. So we're done rambling on here. We're going to get back to the action. We are down to just about 32 laps remaining here tonight from Pocono. Christian Abate, you can see that red mist podcast machine. He stepped out. He has stepped away. Biggest lead of the night. Almost a 2-second advantage. He's going to leave second, third, and fourth to fight amongst themselves. So Bledsoe, Moore, and Grober going at it for positions here. Let's head back to another battle. Let's go back here. Let's check this one out. 51 of Burlow has Alex Wiggins. Doug Argabright behind the wheel of that Hot Wheels Toyota Super. He's going to look to the bottom of the racetrack. All three manufacturers represented in this battle right here. 5th, 6th, 7th on the racetrack as we cross the line this time around. Lap number 39 goes on the board. Closing back in on the front of this field, he has been able to get back to where he started tonight's race from after that early incident here tonight, bringing out our first and only caution of the night. Brendan Mathia. Brendan has made his way back to that 8th position after dropping all the way back to 18th. Coming to pit road to fix the damage under our first caution. This one, he has got some speed, and it makes you wonder what he could have done if he hadn't had to head to the rear of this field. If he hadn't had the problems, how close to the front would Mathia be? We're going to check the lap times last time around, in the fastest man on track right here behind the wheel of that quick trip Camaro, Brendan Mathia. 56.23, race leader 56.48, so 0.2 faster, and you can see just how quickly Mathia is reeling in Wiggins and Burlow. Abate's race lead beginning to dissipate just a little bit more, and Grober starting to close in. Alan Bledsoe going to fall back to 4th now. Still a 6-second advantage for your top 4 over the battle on screen here with Argabright, Burlow, Wiggins, and Mathia. Now Brendan going to look to the inside, heading into turn number 3 through the short chute and down to the bottom. Catfishing a little bit here tonight in Long Pond. The one will take the position. Tell you what, we haven't had the opportunity and chance to go high above the racetrack. What do you say we go to the drone cam here tonight, being flown by our good buddy Joe Hugo, coming across the country, heading over from Cali, pulling some duties for us last week. Gonna head up the drone cam here tonight from the tricky triangle. For the ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity Series, what a night, what a run, long green flag run now. We are over 35 laps into this green flag run, and you gotta start looking at when these drivers will hit pit road once again. Majority of the front of this field headed to pit lane between lap 24 and lap 26. So we would expect to see them to pit road here in the next, I would say, about 10 laps. But more importantly, I mean, these drivers pushing about 20 laps already into this green flag run. We are just about 25 laps away from the end of tonight's race. So as we watch things unfold from high above, as we watch Mathia trying to do away with Burlow heading into the tunnel turn, we'll get closer to the action once again here from Pocono as these drivers continue to pound the pavement at the tricky triangle. So about 20 laps ago, we asked you, what were the Pocono Mountains famous for? We said it's one of those really type moments in, well, Pocono, the honeymoon capital of the United States. Fact check it, Google it if you don't believe it. Famous for their heart-shaped tubs in their honeymoon suites. And I can't be mad. Pocono, beautiful place at times, especially. I love the winter. I like it when there's snow outside and you can curl up next to a fire. I mean, there's just something homey and relaxing about it. So, I mean, I can see it. I can see it being the honeymoon capital of the United States, but man, I don't know. Nothing beats the beach. Just saying. I'll be happy at home in Daytona next week. But first, we got to finish things up here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Alex Wiggins to pit road. The 4 of Daniel Jensen going to pull to pit lane as well. Meanwhile, front of this field, Abati has seen almost a 1 second cut on his advantage. Had right at a 2-second spot over this field. Now down to just 1.1. TJ Grober. Close it in, man. That 18 looks quick here tonight. Fuel window open to the end of tonight's race. I would expect to see the front of this field begin to head to pit road. We've got Cody Schultz in the background, the 5. Gonna pull the Ford Mustang to pit road for what should be the final time tonight. Everybody chasing after that, man. The Red Mist podcast 45 has led the most laps here tonight. And you know, a race is never about leading the first lap. It's not about leading the most laps. It's about leading that 1 lap. The last lap. That's the only lap that matters. That's the only lap that counts. I tell you what, I will give up pole positions. I will give up laps led. You give me the opportunity at the race win at the end of one of these things, and I'll take leading a half a lap over leading any laps, as long as that checkered flag is at the end of the one I'm leading. Long green flag run has stretched the field out a little bit. Let's head back to another battle on the racetrack. Let's go back here with Brandon Mathia, who's continuing to close in on Nick Burlow. The 404 of Dave Gage gonna head to pit road. Gage gonna join the list of drivers that have made their final stop of the evening. Zach Miller in the 38 also on the pit road. Grober, Moore, Bledsoe to pit road. Abati stays out on the racetrack. We've got more drivers to pit lane. Argabright, Burlow, Mathia. Oh, in trouble for one driver. I believe that is going to be TJ Grober spinning, coming to pit lane. That is going to cost him quite a bit. As far as track position is concerned, for of Daniel Jensen going to get himself back on the lead lap the good old-fashioned way by going around your race leader. Heading into the tunnel turn, Bonte still out front, a 34-second advantage now over Brian Ternowski, Patrick Coro, Ed Hauck, still yet to make their final stop of the night. 22 laps to go, and Abati pulls to the pit lane. That could relinquish the lead into the hands of this man, the KRI sponsored 28 Chevy Camaro of Brian Ternowski. Will he bring the 28 to pit road this time around? He's going to stay out on the racetrack. Ternowski was one of the final drivers to make his green flag pit stop that second time in, or first time in, I should say, back on lap number 28. So if we're doing the math, that's going to get him to about lap 56. We are very close to that, running on lap number 49 now, as Derek Moore has been able to make his way by Christian Abati here. It's going to be a very close battle in the course of about a lap or two. So I tell you what, let's go back here. Let's go check this battle out on the track. Alex Wiggins picking up a position, moving back into the 5th spot. Patrick Coro yet to make his a final stop of the night, up 13 positions from where he qualified, sitting in 6th. One of only 2 drivers to move double digits here tonight. But again, keep in mind, he has still got to hit pit road for his final green flag pit stop. Could we see a late race caution change the dynamics of how this race is unfolding? We've got 20 laps to go. Here from Pocono tonight, the ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity Series well underway and on our way to the finish line. We've got 20 to go in the M80's 173. So now with the green flag pit cycles completed, Derek Moore gonna cycle his way to the front. He's got himself just about a half a second advantage over Christian Abati, and then another full 3 seconds back to your Premier Racing Senate Pole Award winner, Alan Bledsoe. There has been a ton of speed underneath the hood of that 24 machine, just hasn't been able to keep it in clean air, and out front, that has been key. That has been king here tonight. If you can get out and you can keep that clean air on the front of these machines, you seem to be able to step away from your competition. And how about the leapfrog from Wiggins as well? You can see that Michigan-sponsored number 11 just off in the background. Wiggins going to leapfrog his way inside of the top 5 and into the 4th position. So could we see this thing go flag to flag after an opening lap incident. First and only caution of the night flying on lap number 1 after contact between the 7 of Ed Hauck and the 1 of Brendan Mathia. Mathia and Hauck both headed to pit lane. Fixed the machines, got him back out on track. Mathia has turned his night around and raced his way back inside of the top 5. Meanwhile, Ed Hauck struggles with pace. The 7 March Madness sponsor, Chevy Camaro, sitting back in the 16th position. There you can see him just off in front of your race leaders as Abati begins to hound more down into turn 2. Battles becoming harder and harder to find as we wind down the laps here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Let's jump back around the 6th and 7th position. Let's go back here, race fans. As Patrick Cora going to bring that 91 to pit lane with 16 to go. This is one of your closest battles on the racetrack. Brendan Mathia, Nick Burlow, Cody Schultz, 5th, 6th, 7th on the racetrack. The 18 of TJ Gruber pitted from right around that 2nd position, but troubles getting onto pit lane have cost him dearly. He is all the way back, sitting in the 9th position. So it brings back a word that we like to really use here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, and that's execute. You can't just have the speed and you can't just execute on track. You have got to execute on every aspect. Your crew chief has got to call the strategy. Your pit crew have got to get their jobs done. And you as a driver have got to get the job done both on the track but coming on and off pit road. Grover with a moment, locking it up, going for a spin, gave up a ton of track position. And here he is, fighting for all it's worth, trying to get himself back to a top 5, but he has got a lot of ground to make up. Grover on screen, trying to run down Doug Argerbright behind the wheel of that Hot Wheels Toyota Supra off of 3, cross the line, 14 to go here from Pocono. Things heating up at the front of the field. Let's go back to the point. Battle for the race lead ensues as we run into some lap traffic here. Derek Moore going to look to the high side coming through turn number 3. Abati takes a different approach, going to run that inside lane. Draft help now down this very long front stretch. Abati going to make the move to the bottom. And he's going to make the pass. He's going to have the position as they enter turn 1. Derek Moore going to fight back now as Abati runs wide through the center of turn number 1. Drag race off of the corner exit. Advantage to the 45. And Abati goes back to the point. It just, man, I'm telling you. A late race caution and a restart. 2-3 wide getting into turn 1. Man, it could really change things. I know one driver out there on the track, he swears he sees some water bottles out there. He swears he sees some debris. And that is that number 1 machine, the Quick Trip sponsored Camaro of Brandon Mathia, who is now back inside of the top 5, continuing to fight, scratch, and claw his way back into what would be a relevant finishing position. I mean, every position is relevant, don't get me wrong. But to have a night like Mathia, start in 8th, make some moves through turn 1, move inside of the top 5, get caught up with a big slide, a little bit of right rear damage, have to come to pit road on lap number 2. Restart from 18th on lap number 4. And run your way all the way back to a top 5 position with 2 rounds of green flag pit stops behind you. Man, that is one hell of a run. Let's go back here because it's not over yet. Brendan Mathia going to look to the inside of Alex Wiggins, take the position away. That's going to open up the door for the 51 Mobile 1 Fast Ford Mustang of Nick Burlow. Burlow going to jump at the opportunity for a position late in the going here. He's going to drag race down to the tunnel turn. Who's going to give? And it looks like Burlow will take that position away. Job well done behind the wheel of that number 51, Nick Burlow, with a fantastic run here. Cody Schultz with a moment as TJ Grober looks to the inside. And there he is out there in the chat. There's our good buddy Muthan Booth, who, as we talked about earlier in tonight's broadcast, gave us that little tidbit of knowledge on Pocono being the honeymoon capital of the United States. And I don't think any of these drivers are going to be kissing, making up, and having any honeymoons any time soon. At least not with each other. Some great racing action, some slide jobs. We've had some beating and banging. We've had some fenders flaring. But we remain under green flag conditions here with 10 laps to go. Race leader Christian Abonte going to make his way off of turn number 3, heading towards the front stretch. Now going to cross the line and give us 9 remaining here tonight. The M80's 173. And I hear you. Well, man, that is one long honeymoon. If that's why you took me to Pocono 2 years ago, then, man, we've got to have the longest honeymoon in history, Roger. I'm just saying. Just saying. And I'm gonna follow that up with Katie's probably jealous. If I get a 2-year honeymoon, Katie's definitely gonna kill me next time she sees me. That's all I gotta say. We're gonna get back on track here. So, we've got some small battles out on the racetrack. After 2 rounds of green flag pit stops, let's take a look here. Alex Wiggins still struggling to keep that Michigan-sponsored number 11 inside of the top 5. He's since lost a position to Argabright as well as Grober. Wiggins going to fall back to 8th place now. Cody Schultz and the 5 machine starts to close in. Schultz looking for yet another position. Nice. Well, man, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think you need a heart-shaped tub in your future, Roger. Otherwise, you're gonna run out of You're gonna run out of garage room for the race cars for the kids. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. You can take it for what it's worth, but nah. All jokes aside, man, glad you stopped by. Glad you could see us here tonight. Hope everything went well trackside for you here tonight. Speaking of trackside, the 5 going to move to the inside. Now take that position away as Wiggins falls back to 9th. Brendan Mathia still trying to shake that 51 of Burlow. Unable to do so far here tonight. So now with just 7 laps to go, let's go back to your race leader, Christian Abonte. The Red Mist Podcast Camaro has not been able to shake the fast forward behind him. We watched earlier here tonight as Christian was able to step out to almost a 2-second advantage. It's down to just 3/10 now. And I would expect last week's race winner from Atlanta Motor Speedway to put up quite a fight here. Can Derek Moore possibly become the first driver to make it back-to-back visits to victory lane? We've only got 6 laps remaining to find out. Can Abati keep him at bay? There's a lot up for grabs, a lot still to be determined. I tell you what, why don't we watch this thing from on board inside of this Harbor Freight's number 16 machine sitting in second. You can see Abati just out front, a little bit of flames as they jump out of the gas. And these Xfinity rides got to get out of the gas quite a bit to make it through the tunnel turn. And we've got shifting here at Pocono. You can hear the downshift there halfway through turn 3. Back into 4th gear now. High gear engaged down the front stretch. High 5 from the boss man to the flag stand. We've got 5 to go here from Pocono. Multiple shifts per lap for this 16 of Derek Moore, as the race leaders continue to close in on some of these back markers. Jake Doping right there in the 13 Zen-sponsored machine going to fall another lap down. He's going to be listed now 5 laps down to your race leaders. Abati looking comfortable here. Moore unable to shake the nerves of that 45. Trying to take a look at this timing and scoring. Brandon Mathia has been one of the fastest drivers on the racetrack lap after lap, but just unable to make up a 5-second deficit. I mean, that's asking a lot, but less than 15 laps to go. He's dropped that time from about 8 seconds down to 5, but just hard-pressed to really cut into that gap at this point in time. We're going to take a look back real quick at a battle underway between TJ Grober and Doug Argabright, as race leaders head down the short shooting back into turn number 3. We're going to have just 3 laps to go, but let's go back here to this 41 Hot Wheels Toyota Supra, piloted by Doug Argabright, closing in on the tail end of TJ Grober. And a pretty good recovery for Grober, right? We've seen him have trouble back on, I believe that was going to move to be lap number 47. When he came to pit road, locked him up, had a little bit of a spin, gave up quite a bit of track time. And you can see right there, Grober was sitting in second when he came to pit road, but that trouble with it being on the entry to pit road compounds the problems. Dropped outside of the top 10, has since driven his way back to 6th, so the 18 has definitely had some speed. Just an unfortunate circumstance causes some problems with a half a second advantage at the front, back across the stripe. Popsicle sticks on display here tonight for the ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity Series. We've got 2 to go. Close action here, side by side at a turn number 3. Drag race to the line. White flag flies. Final lap here from Pocono Raceway as Derek Moore gonna power around race leader Christian Avanti. We've got 3 corners to go. 2.5 miles remain for us to crown a king here at the Tricky Triangle. Moore, the only driver from last week podium drivers to be in a podium position here late in the going at Pocono. We've got 2 corners to go, one as we make our way through the tunnel turn. Christian Avanti has had the speed, but he gave up the race lead coming to the white flag, and here we are with 1 more corner to go through turn number 3, coming to the stripe this time. Will Derek Moore get it done? And it looks like he will indeed go back to back visits to victory lane. Checkered flag in hand for your race leader, race winner here tonight from Pocono behind the wheel of that Harbor Freight's number 16 man. Hard fought race to get to the point. An amazing job to take that top spot away with just 1 lap remaining, walking away with his 2nd checkered flag of the season behind the wheel of that 16 machine. He's got a go-kart season coming up, and he's kicking things off, getting geared up and ready to go the right way. Back-to-back visits to victory lane for Derek Moore. He's going to enjoy a post-race cool-down lap. We would expect to see him burn it down for all the fans on the front stretch. Yet another sold-out packed house here tonight from Pocono Raceway, setting the standard for speed racing. And who needs a 4th turn when you got 3 here at Pocono? An amazing job, an amazing run as he enjoys his post-race celebration. Derek Moore gonna give these fans in the stands a smoke show. We're gonna step away for a brief commercial break, get things set up and ready to go for your post-race interviews. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We'll be back live from Pocono. And as promised, back trackside here at the conclusion of tonight's M80s 173. An amazing night, a long run to finish things out. Only one caution here tonight. On lap number one, we seen this thing stay clean and green from there on out. So we're going to dive right into these post-race interviews. Let's see if we can't grab a word or two with the man that walked away with the pole position here tonight. Led a handful of laps, but came up just a little bit short. Alan, how you feeling after walking away with another solid podium here in Season 9?
Well, I definitely felt like I had more. It was it was a fun race. Ended up I had a really good long run car on the first run. But then I don't know, 5 laps till pit, I I just hit the gas just a little bit too soon in turn 2 and gave myself 17 seconds worth of damage. And I couldn't take it because, there's no point. But it basically ended my bid for a win, which is really hard to take. But you know what? I'm at least happy with a third place finish. Sucks that TJ, by the way, TJ and Andrew, they're new teammates of ours for PRT. TJ spun out going on to pit road, and that kind of made it a little bit easier on me getting a podium. But yeah, it was just a tough race after those 17 seconds, and felt like I had a little more than what I did.
Yeah, with 17 seconds worth of damage here in Pocono, you almost need a caution flag in order to really get that done and not lose an absolute ton of track position. So I believe you made the right call. I don't. It's hard to say what could have been, or you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, Alan, a heck of a finish for you. A heck of a finish for the 24 car. A handful of great points here tonight. So as we look forward to next week, a kind of bit of a crapshoot as we head towards Daytona. Do you think there's anything you can take away from this big track to Daytona? I mean, much different style of racing, don't get me wrong, but do you think there's anything you can take away from tonight's race to maybe employ next week down in Daytona?
Believe it or not, I do. And that's teamwork. So at Daytona, obviously, having a team and working with your team are very important in being successful and running up front the entire race. This was actually our first race together with me, Brendan. Me and Brendan have raced eternally at this point. But TJ being on the team and Andrew, this is the first time we've all been in the same race. So, or it while on the team, of course. And I think that little bit of chemistry that we built tonight is going to help us for next week.
Well, we hope that through the course of this week, you guys have an opportunity to get with each other, talk out a little bit of a strategy. We all know how strategies can go; they all work till they don't. But we'll see how things go next week at Daytona for you and the new teammates. But until then, before we let you go here tonight, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, my dad, he was watching tonight, and looks like I had a couple other viewers on your channel. Thank you for broadcasting this thing. I mean, I love that these races get broadcasted, and I will forever continue sending the links out to my friends and family as long as you keep doing them. I want to thank my team, my long running teammate Brendan Mathia. Um, he is an incredible racer. I mean, as you found out last week, he dominated that thing at Atlanta. Uh, and new teammates, TJ and Andrew. I think we're gonna have a good time, and I want to thank all the admins who put this league together and let us come back for another season.
Well, man, we'll continue to bring these things to the fans and the masses as long as we're allowed to. Hopefully, it's a long-standing contract. I always love coming back and bringing the American Sim Motor Racing Hauck Designs Series to all the fans across TV land. So we hope to see you back again next season. We hope to see you again on the podium next week from Daytona. But until then, my friend, as always, stay safe and keep it fast.
Thank you, Dave. See ya.
All right, there you have it. Final few words for the man that walks away with the third and final spot on the podium here tonight. That is your Premier Racing Setups. Pole Award winner Alan Bledsoe will finish third here tonight from Pocono, and that's going to move us right along the list to the man that led a ton of laps here tonight. Gonna fall short right at the end, final lap, but the 45 of Christian Abati will finish in second. Christian, it's Dave. You got us.
Hey Dave, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I don't want to rub salt in the wounds. How you feeling after a great race, leading a ton of the race here tonight, but coming up short, just one lap short to be exact, man. What was going on through your head in those final 2 to 3 laps, and I mean, just all in all, a great race still, but it's got to be a little tough to swallow coming away with second here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate there at the end with the lap car, but I mean, it was our own teammate playing games with us, Andy. So yeah, I mean, it stinks, but I could have done better. I guess he could have done better, but it is what it is. I think I was fearing the last 5 to 10 laps of the stint, anyways, because even the first two long runs, I definitely had the pace probably for the first 15 to 20 laps, and then those last few was really where I started to fall off. I think I was just burning my front right more than I thought I was. But yeah, I mean, overall it was good fun. I mean, Derek Allen and TJ were keeping me honest the whole time, and it was good fun running with these guys.
Well, I want to address that lap one caution. Did that by any chance come into factor and come into play when it came to the fuel strategy, or was it so quick that it really didn't change the strategy or trajectory that you and your crew chief had sent out at the start of the event?
Yeah, I think the strategy at the start was just to split it pretty even. And then the caution being pretty much, what was it, lap one or lap two, that didn't really change it a whole lot, because it wasn't going to be a fuel mileage race at all. So it was just about keeping the tires in best shape as you could. And I think extending the first stint a little bit was all right. I got kind of um, a look at what the end of the stint would be like for myself, and then second stint tried to do the same thing, and I knew I was gonna drop some time, so I went with the plan of going a lap or two longer than everyone else because I knew I needed the tires at least. But yeah, no, I mean, didn't really play into it all that much. It wasn't like I was gonna save an extra uh save a pit stop out of it or anything like that. So.
Well, man, 3 races in, still looking for that first checkered flag of the season. Gonna ask you about next week's roll of the dice. We're heading down south to beautiful sunny Florida for the Taco Palace and Margarita Bar 187. Do you think you may be able to get that 45 to victory lane next week at Daytona?
It's gonna be a little hard getting this car to victory lane when I'm gonna be on vacation that week, so unfortunately I won't be here. But I think Kern is after Daytona on the schedule, so I guess I'll look to bounce back and have a good time there.
Well, Christian, always a pleasure to catch up with you at the end of these things. You've become a mainstay here in the post race interviews. We wish you the best moving forward, but until then, until we get the opportunity to talk again, would you like to give any final shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, just thank you, Dave, for doing these broadcasts. It's always good to be able to watch these back. And with you and everyone at Turn Three, it's always good to have you. Thanks to ASMR for putting on these events. I mean, everyone here does a really good job of running these races, and some great competition as always. And then thank you to I want to just shout out my teammates, Derek, and not so much Andy tonight because screwed us in the result, but it's okay. We laughed about it, we talked about it, it was all good. And final shout out just to the Red Mist podcast car. So
Well, again, congratulations with a great points day leaving the tricky triangle here tonight from Pocono Raceway. We wish you the best moving forward. We know we'll talk to you again. So until then, stay safe. And as always, keep it fast. All right, there you have it. Final few words for the man that walks away with the most laps led here tonight. Walks away with the fastest lap of the race, but will finish in second. A great night behind the wheel for Christian Amonte. He walks away second tonight, and that's going to lead us right into victory lane. Let's see if we can't dial him up. Let's see if we can grab a few words here during the middle of this celebration. Derek, it's Dave. You got a moment?
I got a few moments for you, I think.
Oh, well, we're going to get in as much as we can here, man. The champagne spraying in victory lane. Man, gotta feel good going back to back.
It's a pretty good feeling. I was trying not to think about it at the end of the race when I was hanging with Christian and knew I might have something at the end as his tires fell off. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I haven't done that yet in this league, so that was pretty cool to check off. I can't say I was expecting it tonight. I've never run a stock car around here. I've only done IndyCar stuff, but I had a pretty good idea what to do. I just didn't know where my pace would be with the rest of the field. But turns out it was pretty good, and just held it held it on the track and tried to be as clean as I could. And yeah, it came together there at the end, I think.
Well, man, walk us through those final, I would say, probably final 2 to 3 laps. Really, you started to close in on the tail end of Abati in front of you. Did you think you had what it took underneath the hood to get up there to him and make that pass?
Yeah, I had a pretty good. I felt like I could get to him. It just was weird how we were catching lap traffic, and it seemed like I was getting the short end of the stick every time. But I was starting to downshift into third in turns 1 and 3, and that was really helping my drive off and stick in his draft. And then I saw we were catching our teammate Andy, and I saw it happening in turn 2, and I backed it up so I could get a run out of it, and stalled Christian up really bad, and luckily he left a lane in the middle of the track, and I just shot through and just sailed it off into 3 and tried to carry my momentum around, and from there on it was just keeping up my pace for one more lap. And yeah, it just came together. We were both pretty evenly paced, but he was a little bit harder on his right front towards the end of the run. So yeah, I was pretty sure I would have something for him. It was just a matter of being in position to take advantage of it.
Well, you got yourself in the position to play for that checkered flag opportunity. You put yourself in the top spot. You held your competition at bay, and you walked away with your second victory of the season. We're going to move on to some super speedway racing next week at Daytona. But before we do, we're going to let you enjoy this one here tonight from Pocono so you know how it goes. We're going to step back, and the mic is yours.
Oh, I just want to, as always, thank you for broadcasting. Thank the admins for putting on this league and these races. They're fun every time. I want to thank Christian for racing me hard and clean, and then same goes for Bledsoe and whoever else we were racing with there at the beginning. Thank Andy for boxing in Christian a little bit there in turn 2. Um, and yeah, just thank the fiance, thank the dogs, I think my dad, we got our first go-kart race of the season coming up on Sunday, so gonna try and win that one too. And yeah, just looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, man, we're looking forward to catching up with you at the end of these things a little bit more as this season unfolds. Good luck on the go-kart season, as we mentioned last week. Good luck on the rest of this season behind the wheel of that ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity ride again into victory lane. Job well done, Derek. So we'll let you get back to celebrating. But until we meet again, my man, stay safe and, of course, keep it fast.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, there you go. Derek Moore walking away with his second checkered flag of the season. Said he kind of knew he had the speed. He just had to put himself in the position. Did so with 1 lap to go. And that is all she wrote from there on out. Derek Moore will walk away with the checkered flag here tonight in the M80s 173, brought to you by the ASMR Hauck Designs Xfinity Series. What a run, what a night, what a race. Producers hitting those buttons in the background, you know the familiar sounds. You know it's time for us to run down tonight's unofficial race results from Pocono Raceway. Walking away with the top spot, checkered flag in hand for the second week in a row. Behind the wheel of that Harbor Freight's tool sponsored number 16, Derek Moore finishes in first. Christian Abbasi going to come home in second with Alan Bledsoe back in third. Fourth place tonight to Brandon Mathia. Nick Burlow in fifth with TJ Grover. Recovering and bringing that 18 back home to slide in sixth. Hot Wheels number 41 of Doug Argabright going to finish in seventh. Cody Schultz back in eighth. Ninth place tonight from Pocono belongs to Alex Wiggins, and Daniel Jensen will finish out your top 10. Up 6 spots from where he qualified here tonight behind the wheel of that 404, Dave Gage will finish in 11th. Anthony Shook going to move his way through the field and finish in 12th. 13th tonight belongs to the 38 of Zach Miller. Meanwhile, Brian Tarnowski going to park the 28. Home in 14th. Patrick Coro back in 15th. Ed Hauck going to finish tonight's race in 16th. The 99 of Nicholas Wing, 17th. 18th tonight from Pocono belongs to the number 10 Casey sponsor machine of Andrew McConville. '19th from Pocono here tonight behind the wheel of that 13 machine. Jake Doping gonna finish a handful of laps down. An early exit from the track here tonight for the 64. Brandon Hartman will finish in the final spot in the running order. Hartman will walk away with 20th. Man, what a night. What a race here from Pocono Raceway, the home of the Turn 3 Racing Network. You can find us each and every July right there in the infield. Come and say hello this year if you're around the area. I'm sure you will not find a funner time. Is that a word, funner? We're going to go with it anyway. A better time at a racetrack during a race weekend than hanging with the Turn 3 guys all weekend long. What a race, what a night here tonight. We're going to get ready to cut off the lights and roll up the cords. But before we go, if you haven't already, remember to join us in that continued push to 4,000 subscribers. Show these drivers some love. Drop the thumbs up. Click subscribe. Smash that bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on the Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, David the Cave, or anybody else back at the Turn 3 headquarters. We appreciate each and every one of you, each and every time you stop by, whether you're sliding in to say hey, or you are one of our dedicated fans, friends, family, or one of our many sponsors. We appreciate each and every one of you. Without you, there would be no us. So stay safe, say love, my friends, and until next time, we'll meet you in Turn 3.